I'm jealous of you. I'm trying to do those like days for Sunday because I'm like working now 13 to like 12, 13 hours a day. So I'm like, okay, Sunday is off limits. Fuck off, everyone.
Yeah, of course. It'll be fun.
yeah.
I'm interested to hear what David has to say about double standards anyway. So
Yeah.
Yeah, me
The
too.
takes are gonna be like here, then here.
I have zero patience as well. I'm just like, nope. Sorry to repeat, it's Reboot
You start.
episode of from we transferring from Daily Dick Show to a new name that is a surprise for you guys. So we are going to still do sex, just under the different name for the podcast. This is a second part of our double standard episode, which is also contains a reboot part of our entire podcast show. And I have my lovely friends here, David and Bax, as a couple who will elaborate more with us on double standards. And D couldn't be with us because he's stuck with work, and it is what it is. Hey, you guys.
Go for it.
oh,
Go first.
thank you. Yeah, my name is Bex. I am originally from Los Angeles, but now I live in St. Louis and I work in the arts. I work in theater.
Hi, I'm David, and I'm a musician, uh, a songwriter and a producer, and I'm from Panama originally, but I live in the States now.
Yeah, and but like a year ago or so, me and David met in Madrid when I was living there, and I went for a couple shows that he did. He plays saxophone, right? And
Yeah.
the main instrument. So yeah, it was really cool. And now we in to talk about double standards. Have you guys ever faced each of you like any double standards in the world in general?
Oh yeah,
For sure.
definitely.
For sure.
I think me personally, women face a lot of double standards in our gender identity every single day, from, sexual experiences all the way to the clothes that we wear, all the way to men being allowed to be shirtless and women not being allowed to breastfeed in public. So
Yes, I very much hate it. Because I have so many cute like lingerie tops that would be great as tops, but I cannot wear because I'm asking for it or whatever.
I mean, that's a whole thing for sure. I feel like women especially are pressured to wear certain clothings, and that's like the clothing that's advertised on billboards with the supermodels. And then if you actually wear the clothing in real life, like, you're a slut.
Yeah, well, that's not the topic of slut shaming, and yeah, that's a big one, and it's very irritating. But what about like how like I precisely know how it states, like from what I've heard, but like how is your being from LA? Because LA, I heard like pretty chill place, right? So is it same as like everywhere else, or is it more like because it's very open, no?
Yeah, I mean, California is like very chilled and relaxed, but I feel like we face a different kind of pressure in LA because, beauty standards are even held to a higher extreme and everybody wants to be famous or be a celebrity.
So true.
Right.
So there's a lot of competition in LA. Especially from people that move to LA because they think LA is going to give them all their hopes and dreams. I feel like the people that are from California, I'd like to say we're a lot more chill, but I could just be biased.
But here in Missouri, where we live now, it's like complete. It's like 10 years behind that.
Oh,
It's a little more bold. Like the difference is on like stereotypes and definitely double standards. I
mhm.
mean, although it's like a really progressive city is trying, I feel like there's a big movement and it's a lot of people like young people being involved with everything. But still, like LA is such a different vibe, and I feel like LA already they're always like the forefront of changes around like in the country, pretty much.
Well, if you say like, what's that, Missouri State, right?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine if Missouri is like 10 years behind LA or California, imagine how far away Ukraine is It's like, and I mean, we're not like half of the country or even more, like 70% or 75% are not even okay with LGBTQ things. So
Yeah.
that's another thing. But like, okay, Bax, did you ever like experience double standards in your job? Because you work with art and theater. So like, besides like being this like famous thing called there to like to pursue that dream or whatever, because it's Hollywood and everything, have you ever like faced that like double standards at work?
Yeah, I've definitely faced it for a couple different reasons. There's definitely the aspect about being a woman that no matter what job you're in, there's a power dynamic at play, unfortunately. So that's, a given. So, I mean, the other aspect of, being in a position of power is being a young person. Age is definitely affects, I feel like, the respect that I get. There are a lot of people that I feel like talk down at me because they think that I don't have enough experience,
Right.
when I was extremely qualified to get the position that I was given.
Right. Bex, how old are you though?
I'm 27.
See, in Ukraine, when you're 27, you're pretty much done. You have to have family, kids, career and everything, because soon you're gonna die. Because 27 is nearly 30.
I know. I mean, that's true here too. I mean, especially in the Midwest where we are,
Really true.
the pressure to get married and have a family and children is really high.
But is it like works for both genders or just for women?
I think both, to be honest. Like, um, I do feel like sometimes people tend to do comments on girls that have not had like a family after 30. Like, it's a little more like prominent, like, oh, like, what are you waiting for, or whatever. Like, you could, I feel like from a Latin family, it kind of comes like that a little bit. Like, the guys,
Right.
I don't know. I feel like it's almost similar, but I feel like always like the girl gets a little more of like, of a little more focus on that, you know?
We were talking in the previous episode with Dee that it's like mostly like that I face like, oh, why don't you have kids? Because the clock is ticking. And I was like, have you seen the clock? Like, do you have the one that I don't have? Do you have my clock? I was like, I'm confused. How do you know when it's time for me? Because it's very sad because people get, in a relationship and getting married and then having kids early and then getting divorced. And those kids are like, in between or not having daddy or mommy, in both ways. And the kids are growing up like kind of fucked up, because they didn't have the proper life and love from both
I can
parents.
take this one.
Okay, yeah,
Right?
do tell.
I mean, yeah, I feel like it is true because I feel like I do feel like in your 20s you figure out like a lot about life and like you just figure out a lot of things like who you are because you grow up like all year when you're younger you grow up and people tell you what to do, people tell you like, oh, these are the tools you can use and all that, but like when you're 20 you become a little explorer and then you are like, oh shit, I like that, oh man. And then like I'm not saying everybody's like that, but for me I feel like it was like that. Like, I don't think I would. I feel like whenever you're the more seasoned or more prepared to be in a relationship, the better or the more lasting it will be.
Right.
And
Like the
also,
better
like,
inside of the relationship, Yeah.
yeah, and it's also just not statistically true anymore. Like, we live in a world where people live longer, you're fertile longer, like we're not dying at the age of 40. That's why having a child at 18 makes sense.
Right.
Women can carry children way longer than they were ever able to before because we have better doctors and health in general.
Yeah.
So those are just so outdated ways of thinking.
And it's very sad because it's still out there, like look around you, like you're using your phone, like you can connect with everyone on your phone, like worldwide, yet you think like not having kid for someone by some certain age that you made up in your mind is like for out of the like, oh my god, how, but but then it's totally like ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, have you ever like heard of the most ridiculous double standards? I mean, they're all stupid and like as Beck said, like outdated, like it's been like century at least, you know, or like even 50 years. Let's not going that far. But like the ridiculous one that not only that doesn't make even sense on a history level. Have you ever faced those?
That's tough.
I don't know.
I
Go ahead.
I think there's a few that I can think of. Like one of the ones that like makes me so angry is
Fine.
that men are supposed to be emotionless.
Oh
And
yes.
like very, very like
Sure.
strong and you know, are not allowed to feel anything or to hurt, you know.
Yes.
I don't get that one.
Yeah, it's ridiculous because we were actually with Dee talking on the previous episode about it because men do cry, and the more they express their emotion freely, the less anger they have inside of them that a lot of men, you know, sometimes or pretty much often put out on other people around them, women, other guys, kids, you know, family, which is not healthy for everyone around. So that's really actually a good point. Like besides being like double standard from back in the day, it never made any sense. Never.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Men should
It only
cry.
fits one
We should
kind of
hug and
person.
everyone. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm saying he only fits one kind of guy. Like, you know, like a lot of guys don't feel identified with being like that, or, you know, some people like to be more emotional or whatever. So definitely it creates a lot of problem in like, you know, if you don't fit that, like if you're totally opposite, if you're a person that you never see yourself as an athlete or anything, you know, you grow up always just thinking that you're not man enough, you know. So,
Yes. That's fucked
you
up.
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, it's
And
like
also
not having kids did not make you woman enough, or being like, you know, bisexual or lesbian, or not wanting to have a children makes you like some, you know, broken.
Yeah.
sure.
But the thing about this double standard, which I find interesting, is it makes a man more feminine to feel emotions because being feminine is the insult, right?
Yeah.
So there's
Like why
nothing
you
that,
like what's the term like pussy? Why you being a pussy? Yeah.
yeah. So, you know, men don't cry because it makes you look like a little bitch or whatever. I don't know if we can curse. I just realized.
I
Yeah.
think
Yes,
so.
please.
Unless-
Yes, please.
unless-
Curse, dick, vagina, everything you want. We changing. We like in works of changing the name. We're not changing. You know the
concept.
purpose. The purpose of that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I truly agree, and also like recently, I've started to study like some introduction to psychology, and I'm moving into psychology and sexology courses, and it is a problem, you know, psychologically, we're so like tense inside of us that makes zero sense for like anyone around, even if that person says, "Oh, like, where are you pussy?" Like, why would you even care? You know. And I mentioned in the previous podcast with D on this topic that there's like a good meme with like two planets, the identical planets, and this like Earth before and after your opinion, and that's really good one because like no one fucking care. I mean, you're free to express your opinion, right? Because it's all about free of speech, la la la. But then I find it weird when like you were not asked about it, you know. So I'm like, it's just like if you express it like in a conversation, it's fine, and it's one thing. And another thing when you express yourself towards some person that you can harm.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have ridiculous that make not cry. Do we have another one? Or like be emotionless?
I have another one. Sorry, I'm looking all
No,
over
go
that.
ahead, go ahead. Bring all of them.
The fact that tampons and pads and birth control for women are so expensive and hard to get, but you can get Viagra anywhere you fucking want to.
Yes.
Get prescription for Viagra. You can just walk into the store and get Viagra.
Well, good thing I don't know that yet.
Yes. Well, hope you will never know, you know.
Right.
You know, free. But like, actually, that's a good point. But you guys in States, do you have like free birth control thing?
We do, but it's not as easy to come by as you'd think.
Okay, because we don't have at all.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah, I mean, I think what was that? I think Sweden was the first one to have like free pads and tampons for women. Was it?
Oh, I don't know, but that makes
Yes.
sense to me.
Yeah, some of those countries, because yeah, and it's expensive. And if you use like vegan ones, you know, that doesn't contain any plastic, it's even more expensive.